Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay Will. So what more of a matchup could I want to do? The Xiaomi Redmi Note 4X versus the Moto G5 Play. I think this is a good matchup because these phones right here definitely are close in price. And, you know, they're spec'd really close to each other with some advantages leaning towards one or the other. But this is pretty good right here. I'm pretty excited about this one. So let's jump right in here and start with a few specs here first. So the Moto G5 Plus is a phone that works on every carrier in the US. It's unlocked. Can't really find this overseas. You can find the Moto G5 overseas. But this one has a 5.2-inch 1080p display. It's got Android 7.0 out of the box, Snapdragon 625, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 gigs on board, or 2 gigs of RAM and 32 gigs on board, 12 megapixel camera on the back with 1.7 aperture, 5 megapixel on the front at 2.2. It has Moto Gestures. Well, I'll get into that later, but it does have Bluetooth 4.2. It has dual band Wi-Fi, which has a 5 gigahertz band, FM radio, fingerprint reader. It's loaded up pretty well. So the Redmi Note 4X has a dual SIM. It's a 5.5-inch 1080p display, Android 6.0, Snapdragon 625. They're both clocked at 2.0 gigahertz, and they both have the Adreno 506. There's two different versions of this one. There's a 4 gig of RAM and a 3 gig of RAM, both with 64 gigs onboard storage. Or excuse me, one with 4 gig of 64 or 3 gig 32. So this model of the G5 Plus is the 2 gig 32 gig, and this is the 3 gig 32 gig. This has a 13 megapixel camera on the back, and this has a 5 megapixel with 2.0 aperture on the front that shoots at 1080p. This one shoots in 4K. This one highest goes is 1080p at 30 frames per second. Bluetooth 4.0, a dual band Wi-Fi, FM radio. 4,100 milliamp hour battery. This is the version that has a 4,000 milliamp hour battery. And then this one has a 3,000 milliamp hour battery. So kind of evenly spec'd, almost right down to the wire. I'm really excited about this one. So let's get into this build quality and design. Let's start with the challenger first, which is the Xiaomi Redmi Note 4X. Now this phone right here comes in multiple colors. Pink, all different kinds of colors. This is the blue-green color, which is basically like a teal, and this is gorgeous, in my opinion. Just a fantastic color. I could have gotten any color in the world, but I chose this color right here. This is a unique color with the white front. I really, really like it. I'm really enjoying this color. The combination is really, really nice. Now, it's got that nice flat camera hump on the back, a dual tone LED flash, and the fingerprint reader is mounted on the rear. This metal body here and the top and bottom are actually plastic for antenna purposes. And then you've got the speaker grill and a microphone and charging sink down there, 2.0. This one has 2.0 as well. Headphone jack and IR blaster up there with another microphone. Just the overall build quality of this phone, it just looks beautiful. You got that gorgeous 5.5-inch display. It is just a beautiful looking phone, period, hands down. And I don't have any complaints about the build quality at all. I really like how this phone looks, and I think it's really killing it on color and stuff like that. Now, let's move over to the Moto G5 Plus. You've got that beautiful 12 megapixel camera on the back. You've got the big camera hump here, but you do get a headphone jack, and it's on the bottom where I would prefer it, but you do have that 2.0 just like that one. And you know, you've got a noise cancellation microphone back there. No IR blaster or anything on here. This is a more rounded phone, and this is a more boxy phone. Of these two, this one feels better in the hand because it's a little bit smaller. However, this has a 5.5-inch display. This has a 5.2, and you can still, it's still a pretty large phone. So keep that in mind. The build quality on both of these, the color options, this only comes in this gray looking color with the black front and the silver looking back here. And it also comes in a gold with a gold front, which is one I really wanted to get. But, you know, it's just one of those things that I would have had to wait to get it. And I just said, screw it, just give me what you got in stock. This, on the other hand, comes in multiple colors, like I said before. And just the design of this one, I think I kind of like it a little bit better. This phone, especially because of the design, it's got like this little shiny accent going on here, and just this metal feel This is just a metal black backplate, a metal backplate. The rest of the phone is plastic. All these sizes, all plastic. But there is an all metal version of this one coming later, but it's not here, and we're not doing a video about that. So this just has a metal back, but this has a metal chassis, a metal body that wraps around. Then you got a nice big slab glass front, and it's only got plastic here. And the way they decide to do the plastic is actually pretty sexy. So for build quality and design, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Xiaomi Redmi Note 4X. I think that's the winner for build quality and design. Screens, to me, this is kind of an easy one. I'll just go ahead and say it. The Note 4X is a better screen. As you can see, I have the same wallpaper loaded up here. And over camera, you can't really see the difference in quality too much. I understand that. But just if anybody has the Note 4X and the G5 Plus, let me know which one you prefer. I personally like the Xiaomi Redmi Note 4X better. I think it's a much better display. It seems to be a little bit sharper, more crisp, vibrant, I guess I want to say also. Something about it, man. It just pops, you know. It's really nice. I really dig it. So speakers on here are, you know, it's kind of a, this has a bottom firing speaker, which is really loud, but it doesn't appear to be as loud as the Moto G5 Plus speaker. And somebody asked me one time, when you're doing these battles, why don't you demo everything? Well, I've got a review up on these phones. So if you want to see the things function, if that's kind of what you're looking for, you should probably go check out the reviews on both of these phones. I have something up on both of these phones at this point, so go check them out. This is kind of a discussion battle. That's how I do these things, man. I don't pop up pictures and all that. In most cases, I just kind of tell you my experience about it, because you might definitely have a different experience about it. But there's definitely camera shots up on both of these, and things like that. So anyway, as far as speakers go, the Moto wins because it's facing you. It's up here at the top, and the Xiaomi is coming out of the bottom here. And you can easily cover that when listening to something or viewing a movie or something. But this, you can't, because it's facing you. You'd have to be holding it and intentionally covering that speaker, I would think, to get that to be blocked out. But they're both loud, but this sounds better and it's facing you. So there you go. Camera quality, again, this camera rivals lots of flagship cameras. I just put up a camera sample on this one. Both of the front cameras on here to me, they're not the best. But the rear camera definitely goes to the Moto G5 Plus, because it can shoot in 4K. It can shoot at 60 frames per second. And, it could just do much. It's just the quality, not that it can shoot in those modes, but it just looks better. To me, it just looks a heck of a lot better than this phone right here. This phone camera is good when it's off by itself, but when you start to put it next to things, let me do this. I'll do a live photo here for you. What can I take a picture of? All the things I have. All right, let's grab this right here. That's the S8, and I love that gesture. I can just do that. All right, so we'll take that photo. Oops, just dropping phones. And now we'll go here. And here we go. Now in this lighting, it looks like, it's so funny I said that the Moto was better. But to me, the Moto has more detailed in the photos. I know it is kind of difficult to look at this over the video. I'm sorry. But to me, the Moto has a lot more detail, and it's a lot more crisp than the Xiaomi. The Xiaomi also is making it a little bit brighter than what it is in here. It's more along the lines of this. So, I mean, and that's just something that in this video, you might have to just take my word for it. But honestly, I feel like there's not a lot of phones in this price range that can match this camera. That's just me. And this phone's camera right here, I really expected a little bit more for some reason. I don't know. I expected it to be a lot more powerful because I've seen people post footage on this and it looked great. Now maybe I can do another, I mean, the video footage. Let me say this. Let me get a little bit more detail. The video footage on here is really good. It's decent. But I've just got more phones that have a better rear camera and definitely a better front camera. On here, Video camera is really solid on it. It's good. No second guessing on this camera. No other way to say it. Software wise, this is kind of where the Moto should take this all the way. These both have like gestures and stuff like that, so I'm not so much focused on that. What I'm focused on is the extra stuff, like Moto Gestures is an extra feature on here. You can use this home button to just navigate the entire phone. This phone over here doesn't have like a whole bunch of fancy gestures. It has gestures, but the Moto actions, like I flip to, you know, chop twice, turn on the camera, you know, or the flashlight twist, you know, those are just things that you just kind of, it's a win because it's easier to access. I don't have any shortcuts or anything for this. I think I can probably double tap the camera. I don't like the double tap power button for camera. I don't think that's a gesture at all. It's just a mistake waiting to happen. This is my personal opinion, but when it comes down to software overall, the Moto software added to this stock Android experience is a bonus. This software on the Xiaomi is fluid. It's just, someone told me that a company that I got it from, they're known for putting their own software on there. And I'm like, I don't know why they would rip off the stock software that comes with the phone and put their own on there. There's no bloatware from the company that sells this. Like the website, there's no GearBest apps on here or nothing like that. When they told me that, I was kind of like, well, that's kind of weird, but hey, I don't know. It's my first time dealing with GearBest, so I think the software is good as is. It's just not as fluid and fast as the Moto software. That's all it is. This is pretty much stock Android. So while this isn't bad, it's just not as fluid and quick in response than this. So before you tell me go into developer options and all that, guys, I know how to do that. I know how to do that. You're not telling me anything I don't know. Even with that, the software experience to me is just still a little bit better on the Moto because it's closer to stock, you know, just the look of it. I made this one look like this, but I had to put an over launcher on there. You know, this is just the way the phone comes. This is nothing, I didn't do anything to this. So software experience goes to the Moto G5 Plus. Out of the box, Moto G5 Plus wins. Because also, I didn't forget, the Moto G5 Plus is running 7.0. So, this is running 6. Well, I don't have to go into it. You can see 7, and this is running 6. So, you know, I was eating popcorn, guys. You hear me spitting and stuff. I'm sorry. Hey, just keeping it real. This is running 7 or 6. So, you know, it's just one of those things. Software goes over here. If this was running 7.0, maybe it would run better, faster or something. Overall performance, though, they're both fast. They're both fast for what they are. This is just a lot faster in day-to-day tasks. And I gave an example of that earlier in another video on this phone. Like I'm long pressing and try to move things around. And it seems like it just takes forever to activate the long press. Let me see, look. It's just, I don't know. It just seems like it takes a long time. But software-wise, again, Moto G5 Plus wins that one. And performance, they're kind of equally matched in performance, but this being completely stock, it beats it out a little bit. Battery life, guys, this is, I shouldn't have to say it, but the the Xiaomi wins. It's got a 4,000 milliamp hour battery with a Snapdragon 625, opposed to the 3,000 milliamp hour battery that's in here with a Snapdragon 625. I pulled down 10 hours, I think it was. Let me see if I can find the screenshot. Gallery. Let's go to albums and screenshots. Yeah, 10 hours. 10 hours of screen on time. That's ridiculous. And I still had 15% left. You see that? I still had 15% left. So, and I was snapping screenshots along. See, here I had 28% left, and I had 8 hours and 50 minutes. So, you know, battery life goes to the Xiaomi Redmi Note 4X for sure. It's got a 4,000 milliamp hour battery in here. With the Snapdragon 625, it's kind of a no-brainer. I would definitely recommend that you grab this phone if you're in the US. And I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But on this one, I can grab 6, maybe. I can easily pull down 6, 6.5 easily. But I can definitely pull down 10 on this. And that wasn't just from one day. That was from like a day and a half, almost 2 days, I believe. So Note 4X wins battery. Price point, again, the Note 4X wins because even though this isn't available officially in the US, you can get this anyway. Get it from GearBest. I'll have a link in the description where you can grab this for 160 bucks right now. So hurry up and grab it. It's totally worth it. And I'll explain to you about networks in just a second. But this one right here is unlocked for all carriers, Sprint, Verizon, AT&T, and all GSM, T-Mobile. This one, it wins for the network portion of it. But this one is unlocked for GSM carriers. Anyway, pricing, this one wins because it's a lot cheaper, you know, flat out. You know, there's no discounts on this one yet at the moment. There was, but you can find this through Amazon, but it's going to have ads on it. But this one is just an unlocked dual SIM phone, period. That's it. No, nothing. That's straight to the point. That's what it is. So I definitely recommend this one and as far as price because, you know, while it doesn't work on all carriers, that GSM unlock is good enough. Now this one has LTE in the US and I get 4G LTE for AT&T on here and 3G and HSPA Plus on here for T-Mobile. So overall, which one do I recommend? I recommend both of them. I recommend both, but there can only be one. So in this particular battle, who took build quality? This one took build quality. This one took screen. This one took speakers. This one took software and features. This one took camera. This one took battery. This one took performance. This one took price. So it's kind of a tie. Oh my gosh. If I had to pick one though, I would definitely go with the Moto G5 Plus only because it's an official phone in the US and it works on all carriers. No network issues at all. This one doesn't have network issues. It's just that it only works on GSM unlock carriers like T-Mobile, AT&T, Simple Mobile, and stuff like that. Things that use a SIM card pretty much for their service, period. But this one, while it was close, man, if I had to pick one in the end, like for a final, it's kind of a tie, but if I had to pick one and tell you to go buy one, I wouldn't have you import this. I would tell you to just go to Best Buy or go to Motorola's website and go ahead and buy the Moto G5 Plus. So there you have it, man. It's your man, Jay Will. Another video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you enjoyed. Leave a comment down below. Take care.